Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by for another video here at All I See is W. In today's video, we'll be doing a deep dive technical analysis of Bitcoin as well as the big three HODL Bitcoin miners. We'll cover Mara, CleanSpark, and Riot, what the upside is using technical indicators, as well as going through the latest updates with Bitcoin and the miners as well that are transitioning over to HPC AI. We'll go through those updates, and if you enjoy this content, I would really appreciate you smashing a like, subscribing for more related content. Let's get started, guys.
I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. In the fourth quarter, seasonally, Bitcoin strong, but now we have the Fed flipping dovish after being essentially hawkish all year. That's a tailwind for Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin gets to 200 to 250,000 by the end of the year. And that aligns with Mark Newton's technical targets.
So there you heard it from Tom Lee. His forecast was 200 to 250,000. Now that does seem far stretched out. However, anything is possible, even on Polygon market. I mean, it's at a 5% possibility of hitting those numbers, and the payout could be very substantial. I'm staying bullish, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Cointelegraph posts John Bollinger said, gonna be time to pay attention soon, I think. Bitcoin doubled the last time he said this. I mean, just with post today from John Bollinger, I mean, he created the Bollinger Bands. He says potential W bottoms in Bollinger Band terms in ETH and Solana, but not in Bitcoin. Going to be time to pay attention soon, I think. So, what is that telling us? I mean, he doesn't really post as much, but when he does, there's potential upside. And we've already seen that happen with Bitcoin. Cointelegraph also posts Bitcoin is currently down 6% in October, but there are 12 days left. Which way are we going? I mean, just look at the historical trend. 2025 historically, October tends to do very well. But so what we've done so far, we started out 6%. Again, we're not end of October yet, so anything is possible. Let's see how things play out with Q4. Crypto Klepto posts as Mara holds over 53,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So for every $100 increase in Bitcoin, that's equates to 5.32 million profits. If it goes up 10,000 in Bitcoin price, that's a profit of 532 million. It goes up every 100,000 increase in Bitcoin, it's going to go 5 billion in profit. So it becomes exponential. We hear about Bitcoin, at one point it's going to get to like $1 million. It will come eventually as it gets more scarce. Think about the profit that Mara will then accumulate. I mean, you look at what Mara is doing, they're essentially becoming a Bitcoin bank, similar to what Strategy is doing. The fact that they're also pivoting, transitioning over to HPC AI as an alternative potential revenue generator, that helps them grow substantially as well. Professor Heiss posts about Mara working inside a 2-year long consolidation. Weekly break above $24 opens room for a push to $30, then $40. Long consolidation breaks makes millionaires. So what is he saying? I mean, just with this long-term consolidation that's happened for many years now, we see this cup and handle formation breaking out, but I really do think that Mara has potential for just breaking out of this long-term resistance and, just start going up vertically. Nick posts about CleanSpark. No major changes since last week, or did we? Still showing 3 blue diamonds and strong flow on CleanSpark. Feels like a lot of things are happening behind the closed doors with CEO Matthew Schultz. Time is running out before this one takes off, in my opinion. Chart looks clean and institutional ownership is top tier with BlackRock and Vanguard among the biggest holders. That's all we have to say now. I mean, we see the diamonds playing in, and will CleanSpark, reverse to the upside next week? We will see. D-Trades posts about CleanSpark about to test that golden line support, which is what we see right here. We'll add more there. I see CleanSpark hitting $50 in 3 months. So, this person's very bullish. He does see the potential upside with, CleanSpark getting up to $50 in the coming, 3 months. Time Traveler Carlson trades posts about Riot. I mean, he's seeing, large institution buying, you know, we're seeing a lot more whales buying as well. So we got 4 million call buys versus 1 million call sells, much less, puts that are being generated. But we also have, whales buying along with institutions just recently loading up. I mean, just recently we have a whale buying over like 1.5 million shares of Riot. That tells you something, which a whale may potentially know what's coming. So that's definitely very bullish, as well as, just seeing institutions also increase, which is why we're seeing large institution net volume, as well as, just with retail buying as well, including net option premium flows. It's increasing substantially just with last week. Satoshi Nakamoto poses Riot, very undervalued chart. I think it goes to $32 within the next 3 weeks. What are we seeing? Very similar to Mara. I mean, it's been in a multi-year resistance consolidation pattern. Just recently, we broke out of that channel, and now it's sunshine and rainbows. I think we're just going to continue to hover up, see how high it can test in terms of fib levels, and only time will tell. I think we're at that position where Riot can really outperform given the fact that it's been underperforming for many years, and any HPC announcement can really put Riot in a good situation to start, appreciating with its share price. Let's take a look at Bitcoin technical analysis. So where we currently are right now, Bitcoin hovering, currently above 108,400. That's looking much better. I mean, we got down to 103,000. So we tested the 0.36 fib level. I mean, we broke below 0.38 fib levels at 109,000. And we even, broke below that lower level fib levels. I mean, it's testing many levels just recently. Back in June, we had it test the zero fib levels below the 100,000, 98,000. Some people are thinking that Bitcoin can break below that. Yes, it's possible. But because we've been just, we've been retracing down for 3 weeks now, I think that we're gonna see a reversal to the upside. Rate cuts are coming in like, over a week, and that's gonna be very bullish for stocks, crypto. We're gonna have multiple rate cuts in Q4. So I think we're gonna start seeing a reversal to the upside. The last momentum candle we got was September, and we just got this big, bear candle that took place October 10th after the announcement on Friday with tariff worries. And, Bitcoin, I think it reached a bottom here. I think we're going to start climbing up. I think we're going to start, retesting, the 0.618 fib levels. Once we break that 115,000, which doesn't have too much resistance, I think we're going to start climbing up. Like what Tom Lee's saying, Q4 is going to be where we're going to get to new levels. And I think we're going to get above the 1.618 fib levels at a minimum 143,000. I think that's going to be a good case scenario. I know previously I was saying that it was going to be above 170,000. But until we get to the 1.618 fib levels, then we can, reassess the use case here. Let's take a look at Mara's technical analysis. So what are we seeing? I mean, back in October 14 last week, we saw a very nice candlestick, right? Very bullish momentum candle. We saw the strength in Mara going from like low 20s, and it just rocketed to $23. What has happened since? We saw a huge reversal. I mean, it started retesting soon. It looks like, it's right at that level where it's testing the 0.618 fib levels. But I really do think that what we saw with that momentum candle, that shows the strength. There's a lot more investor confidence in Mara. And just looking at this cup and handle formation, I think that we're going to start seeing it retest, 1.618 fib levels, I think is going to be achieved. I think we're going to start seeing, 2.618 and 3.618 fib levels. I think we're going to get somewhere around that, $32 to $40 range in the coming weeks through Q4. Mara's been just consolidated for so long, but I think the blast off is going to happen with this big time company. Take a look at CleanSpark. So CleanSpark, what happened? I mean, it was climbing up significantly, got to like the $23 range, and then we had that, that substantial pullback on Friday. But you know what? We haven't tested the fib level 0.618, 1693. Yes, it's possible for it to reach that level. However, I think, coming next week, let's see how things go. Can it start reversing with Bitcoin, starting to appreciate? We will see how things start reversing. Just good news is, I mean, even though it went up to like $23, it needed to reset a bit. I mean, look at the relative strength. It was an overbought condition, 86 RSI. Definitely needed a retracement, a cool off period, and now it's kind of reset. Now it's tested below the 0.786. The next level fib is, 0.618, $17 range. While it can get to that level, I do think that there may be some nice reversal to the upside. We're going to start retesting, you know, get back above the $20 range, I believe. So we're going to be hovering above that 0.786 fib levels and start climbing back up to the one fib level, get above $22. Let's say we break through this range, then we're going to start climbing up to the 1.14 at $27 and then 1.618 fib levels. I definitely do think that there's possibility for CleanSpark to break above that 1.618 as we head into Q4. So looking very bullish. Good news is, yes, we do see this retracement dip opportunity. RSI has cooled off and we're going to start seeing it climb back up. Let's take a look at Riot Platforms. So Riot, very similar, position similar to what we've seen with CleanSpark here. One of the things we saw was Riot, it got up, $24. I mean, it hit the one fib level. Relative strength was in the overbought condition, 78. And just with the news last Friday, we had an expected pullback as well. So it did have a pullback. And good news is on Friday, we saw a slight, uptick. So it gives investors confidence of what's to come. Can a reversal start coming? But the good news is similar to when we had the last earnings report, the relative strength went from like 77 and it had a huge drop. I mean, $15 dropped all the way to 11, climbed up, $24, took a big pullback to $18. This was definitely a huge gap drop, but good news is, we have retracement here. I think we're going to start climbing back up to retest that 23, $24, and then soon enough, we will start climbing up. I think that 1.618 fib levels, $35 is very well achievable. The last momentum candle we got was it's 3 weeks ago, so it's been quite some time, and I do think that we're in this ascending channel. We've been, hovering in this resistance channel for many, many years. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out, how high Riot wants to go. But I definitely do see, $30 is going to be coming shortly. 30 plus. So that's my assessment. So there you have it. I hope you enjoy this content. If you did, I would really appreciate you smashing the like, subscribing for more related content. Thanks, guys.